Are Jayden's teammates putting too much pressure on him?
Oh, no, not too much pressure this young man can't handle. I mean, this first year he went to the NFC Championship game. No, ain't no. You got to understand, when you get pressure put on you, it's a privilege. The first year when we got Kevin and Ray, we was on the cover of every magazine, Sports Illustrated, this cover, and they put all the spotlight on us, the pressure that we had to deliver. That means we must be pretty good, and we're going to be pretty good, and must be doing something right. And the same thing with this kid. There's high expectations for the city of Washington with this kid. I see him going to a Pro Bowl, and I'm seeing them, hey, we may see him again in the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I can honestly see them getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, there's no pressure at all. I mean,
no pressure?
No pressure at all. He's already been there, done that. He's cool now.
How are you defining pressure?
Well, I mean, if he's sitting up thinking that he's going to duplicate the same things that Tom Brady was able to do because his teammate is saying these sort of things, it's not going to happen. All you got to do is just go out there and continue to keep doing what you did a year ago and build on that. You got your entire offensive staff back. You got Deebo Samuel. You got Scary Terry. You let them carry the mantle for you, and you just keep doing the things that you are capable of doing and just run from it from there. That's all you got to do.
But you don't think he, in his mind, right now, he's saying we can get to the Super Bowl. You think he's not going to be in that locker room and
but that ain't no pressure though. That's just not the pressure, just because outsiders are saying it. Expectations is different than pressure.
Expectations is pressure, Keith.
You know?
I expect you to be this.
Yeah, I expect for them to be good.
Yeah.
They may not get back to the NFC Championship game, but anything less than that as a team, because they are ahead of the curve, becomes a complete failure to me. But there's no pressure behind that.
I don't understand how that doesn't equate to pressure.
Nah, because he done already passed that.
He don't even feel pressure, but as an athlete, for me, I say there are certain expectations, but what I have for myself will be far greater than somebody put on me. So the pressure I put on myself is greater than anybody.
The pressure, that's different because that's pressure coming from within yourself.
Yeah.
I had pressure because I applied pressure to myself.
So
I wasn't worried about other people.
When does anyone have pressure?
You say what?
When does anyone have pressure?
When you fall in, when you succumb to outside noise, trying to tell you this is what you should be doing, this is what you got to do, and then you watch athletes start to crumble because they get the pressure get underneath.
Pressure on all the best, all the time.
Yeah, because people are going to expect for you to do certain things if you listen to it, though.
Yeah.
But I'm not listening to the outside noise because I already know what I have to do and how I have to take care of business.
I mean, I don't think they're putting too much pressure on him. He had an unbelievable rookie season, and they were in the NFC Championship game. So I tend to agree with you. I don't think that there's too much, but I do think there is more pressure than there was last year because they came out of nowhere. No one was expecting them to be anywhere near as good as they were. He wasn't even the #1 overall pick. So a lot of people, not Keyshawn, but a lot of people were waiting to see how Jayden was going to perform in the NFL. So all of that's gone. You're not sneaking up on anybody.
No.
You've made additions to the roster. You kept your entire, top staff in place. So the expectations are this. The expectations are get back to the NFC Championship game. That wasn't the expectations for them last year.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think that means that they need to succumb to some outside noise or anything, but I do think that the circumstances are definitely different for Washington than they were last year.
But, Joy, by the time they got to week 11, week 12, week 13, there was pressure. Because at that point, you had already gotten...
Yeah, but, I mean, pressure for them to keep being consistent, but not to make it to the NFC Championship game.
No, their eyes was on the prize. Because they saw internally that they could actually get there. And that's what happens when you start off a certain way. Like you said, coming into the season, like, rookie quarterback, a fire coach that's trying to, get back on top. And then they win a game or two, then they lose a couple, win a game or two, win some games. You start looking... And you start saying to yourself, we can beat them. We can beat them. And now, all of a sudden, that internal pressure starts to mount. That's why when you look at teams that start off kind of shaky and they finish strong in the end, everybody's always sitting there saying the next year they're going to be much better than what they were because they're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we did with C.J. Stroud.
But they got back. They won the division, got back to the playoffs.
I don't think you remember, Key, in the first 7-8 weeks, we had this kid, like, one of the favorites for MVP.
Yes.
For MVP.
Yes. That's what I just said. And so
Like
as time went by, they started looking at it like, we can be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like, I expect the same kind of things next year. I think I'm actually picking him to win MVP. And I know it may sound crazy for a second-year player, but he raised the bar.
I don't think it sounds crazy.
He raised the bar.
Put up the numbers. Like, we know that he's going to have those wow moments that you need to have to win an MVP. And they're, obviously they're in a tough division with the Eagles, Super Bowl champions, being there, but they're familiar. And, again, they've made great additions to their roster this year, and they have continuity with coaching, which is only going to benefit a young developing player. So I don't think that it's wrong to have these kind of expectations. I do think it's added pressure because we tend to forget that these are still young players. Just because he's playing well beyond his age and what we expected from him in his rookie year, and they went further than we expected for them to go, that doesn't mean that he's not still a young player.
See, he is still a young player, but I guess because I kind of know him, and I know that it's just like water off his back. It's just gonna roll right off.
Well, I mean, that's how he's performed. That was one of the things that we observed from him all season is, that he is just unfazed. Even in the NFC Championship game, though they didn't play well as a team, he didn't look rattled. So
maybe that's what it is with me, is I also look at him individually and like, he ain't worried about what these people are talking about.
Oh, he shouldn't.
Well,
Caleb Williams is heading into his second year with a lot to prove. Everyone saw his physical gifts during his Heisman campaign and beyond at USC. Fight on. But he was outpaced by Jayden Daniels and Bo Nix in his rookie season, and wide receiver Olumide Zaccheaus joined the Bears after playing with Jayden in Washington last year and had some thoughts on where Caleb needs to improve to find more success in year two. Let's take a listen. So you expect a big jump from Caleb in his second season, Keyshawn?
Olumide Zaccheaus. Did I say it right?
Olumide, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I would have just said OZ and called it a day. I think there's a lot of this is the difference. We just talked about Jalen, but the pressure now is real pressure on Caleb.
Yeah.
The reason it's real pressure on Caleb is because you look at first-time head coach. You got a new system that's coming into play. That head coach is going to want you to do some of the same things Jared Goff has been able to do within his system. You got a general manager who has now hired a second head coach. So you can't expect for there not to be pressure in the front office because you're only getting 2 hires. You ain't getting 3 and 4 hires unless you win in a lot of Super Bowls.
Right.
They're now retooling your offensive line for you. After getting you weapons from a year ago, you becoming the #1 pick in the draft, the face of Chicago outside of Michael Jordan and Mike Ditka, to the point where you got to deliver because year 1's a pass. Year 2, they're going to start looking for you to do some things. Year 3, they want you to take a major leap. If you ain't taking that leap in year 3, they're going to be looking at whoever's getting drafted in 2027 NFL draft. They'll start looking at them and going, I really like the way that guy throws that football. And now you start looking at them not picking up your 5th-year option, you being on the move. So there's a lot of pressure on Caleb. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're doing anything they can to make it convenient for him. They say, hey, we didn't block for him. He was the most sacked rookie in the history of the game. All right, we'll go get the line. We're gonna put some receivers around you. Hey, listen, it's put up or shut up now at this point. I mean, when you look at him being the #1 pick and you seeing all these other rookie quarterbacks, having success, the pressure is on Caleb now. But I do expect him to be better. I think all the cards are dealt for him. I expect them to have a big year. And I expect them, like the expectations for Chicago, believe it or not, they have them. I think it's the playoffs. I mean, they're building it like that.
I don't think they have to make the playoffs. I mean, I did my defending of Caleb last year. It wasn't a good situation. I thought it was greatly exaggerated what he was walking into. This year, he's going to have to step up. He got everything he asked for. He got the hotshot coach. They're building up the line. They're continuing to make additions to the roster. He's not a rookie anymore. You were the #1 overall pick that came in with massive expectations. And I think you should get a pass in your rookie year. Unless you do something like Jayden Daniels did or C.J. Stroud did, I have a lot of grace for rookies. It's a really big jump and a big adjustment, the speed, the strength, all of that. It's a lot. Like he says, learn how to get to the building. So if it doesn't go well, that's okay with me. But once you get into year 2, you've got to take a significant step up in development. But that doesn't necessarily mean, again, that I think they need to make the playoffs. They are in the hardest division in football. It's going to be hard for all of those teams to make the playoffs, and any of those teams that don't make the playoffs will feel like a disappointment. That's just not how it works. So I think they'll take a significant step up. I expect them to be competitive at the end of the season, and all the things that they've done in this offseason point to he should be taking a step up.
And he should. And if he doesn't, I'm telling you, that pressure, because think about these quarterbacks, they get 3 years, basically.
Yeah.
And you think about it, they're going to get 3 years no matter how you look at it. No matter how we slice it up, they're going to get 3 years. And you're right. Maybe the playoffs is a bit of a reach, but improvement is extremely important.
Yeah.
I need to see your completion percentage go up. I need to see the turnovers go down. I need to see the receivers smiling and happy, and there's a future, and they can see light at the end of the tunnel. I need to see the defense continue to emerge, because everybody going to feed off of you at the quarterback position. And if you're not doing the things that they think you should be doing, things are going to change, not for the better, but for the worse.
Yeah. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.